Dum 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 dum. Hello, everybody. Welcome to SketchCraft Gaming. This is the podcast where me and Wesley and Ashley, we all like to just talk and complain or gloat or what's the word I'm thinking of? I guess gloat. You know what I mean? Or just give love, give hate, give shade, give praise to all things gaming. Why? Because we just love it. Something we like to talk about. So, joining me again, as always, Wesley Rusher. Say hello.
Hello.
All right, Wesley's back. It's been 2 weeks. We were actually going to do this last week, but I put it off because I was stuck watching Blizzcon. Couldn't take my eyes off it. Ashley West. Say hello. Ashley joins us from gangfeather.com.
Hey!
Hey! Wow. Much more peppy Ashley today.
Well, I want to change my last name to Ashley just to make the podcast.
Wesley Ashley.
I could be Ashley Wesley instead of Ashley West.
You know, let's not do this. You know my names.
You should add a Lee to your name too.
Do you know my Wii's? My me's on my Wii. There's Nabra and Brana, so it's vice versa. Those are my two guys, my boys. All right, everybody, this is nonsense. We're talking nonsense. So we got some gaming stuff to talk about. Let's see. We are going to talk a little bit about the Beard Blade Kickstarter. We're gonna shed a tear over that one. Talk a little bit about
Blizzcon and drink a beer.
Possibly. I'm not allowed a pumpkin beer though, so that's not going to happen tonight. We got some BlizzCon we're going to go over. Fucking Owlboy. All right, 9 years finally showed up. Death of the Wii U. Woo! All right, no, I'm just joking, folks. I love my Wii U. Also, Ashley's been playing WoW Uncharted 4. Here, golf clap. Golf clap, Ashley. And also...
What the hell? What'd you say?
You got a little golf clap for starting to play Uncharted 4. You don't know the movie reference. So, it's before your time, Ashley Wesley. And also, Museum of the Questionable. I don't know what the hell you're talking about. We'll find out. We'll get to that. So, first off, I want to talk about Beard Blade. I have mentioned this game before. It was on Kickstarter. They were trying to raise 90 grand. They came very close. They came like they got going, and they just didn't. It was close.
Oh, really? So they really did get really close.
No.
No. Okay, so you are joking. Okay.
I'm trying to be positive, Ashley. I'm trying to have positive vibe
I don't know,
here.
you sound really serious, actually. I thought you were joking, and then I was like, oh no, he's real, and then I was like, no, you're joking.
Poker face. No, yeah, sadly they barely got to like 18,000. Let's see. Beard Blade
16,000.
You know, Wesley, you're not helping.
I am helping. I told you exactly how much.
Yeah, but that's not helping.
$31.
All right, let's take a look at the desktop here. So go to the Kickstarter. Wow, it doesn't want to cooperate tonight. 16,030. Yeah, nowhere near it. They did mention a few things in their update about what they're going to be doing. They're still going to try to rework the demo a bit, try to get some personal funding. I think one of the things that people were asking was that the game be enhanced for widescreen. Now, this is interesting, Wesley. How do you feel about the widescreen versus the
4x3?
It's not really 4x3. It's more like 12x9.
So I think most people have widescreen TVs now, so make your game widescreen.
I think it does make the characters smaller though. You know what I mean? Like, so I don't know. It's neither here nor there, I guess. And then I guess some of the play control and stuff. But they said basically they're going to attempt to garner some private funding. I don't know, maybe even on Fig they said. I really think if they get on Fig and they get the backing, of like Tim Schafer and those guys to kind of promote them a bit more, because these guys just didn't have any promotion. They made a lot of like iOS games that are actually fun, like Velocispider. Like, I hate fucking cell phone games. You know this, Wesley, right?
Yes,
Yeah, you do. So
I think I've heard it once before.
yes, thank you. Some every now and then something comes along, like Knights of the Pen and Paper. Fucking fun game. Ashley, have you played that game?
No.
One of the few games you can put on an iPad and be like, that is fun. So, Knights of the Pen and Paper. Velocispider, simple game, fun. Great pixel artists, these guys. It's two dudes. I found out it's two. So, I really want to see more of this. It's pretty awesome, but just for some reason it could not cut through the internet bread with its butter knife. You know what I mean? Just couldn't punch through. Could not one punch the internet to get some coverage on this game. So, bummer. But as gaming taketh away, it also giveth. Wesley, finally, after 9 consecutive years of development, I mean, Owlboy. Owlboy is finally released. You want to tell everyone what Owlboy is?
Yeah, I had seen it at PAX, but I didn't really know it had been 9 years in the making until it finally kind of like it was getting close to release and websites were talking about it. But anyways, Owlboy is a side-scrolling adventure game, sort of like Metroid.
No. It's doing the music. Oh, won't let me tell you. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, very beautiful, kind of like, I don't say 16-bit, maybe 32-bit, somewhere in between there.
It's the 2D bits we thought we'd have got with the Saturn or the PlayStation before 3D, right? Like it's 32.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
It kind of reminds me of like Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but just way better. And
God, it's so gorgeous.
It is, and it's a beautiful game. Like everything animates, like all the trees blow in the wind. There's the grass ruffles. The main character is named Otis. You're an owl. You don't speak, but they cover that in the beginning. They let you know in the story that you were born a mute. So there's actually context to why you don't speak.
Clever.
But everybody else in the game, the characters that come along with you are fantastic. And it's great too is the side characters aren't just like the side character, they're your weapons too, which is really neat. Owlboy himself, he has like a roll attack which can basically stun enemies, and he can fly anywhere. And how his main mode of weapons is he carries his buddies around, or the friends he makes. So the first character that you get with him is a guy named Getty. He's like his BFF from the town he's from, and he carries him around, and Getty's got like a little blaster pistol, and you can use it to shoot enemies, shoot obstacles in your way. Eventually you meet more characters, a pirate who's got a shotgun, and a spider-like character. I'll leave that vague because it's not like this game is like, oh my god, that's a huge spoiler, but there's a nice little charming things with all the characters, and he's got like a grappling hook and like a web shot that can entomb enemies to help you take them out easier. But yeah, the game is gorgeous. The music's fantastic. All the story writing is very witty and very entertaining. You sit there and you will read the screen and you watch the characters, even though they're tiny on the screen. You can see all the little like facial animations they make. When one character's crying, you can see the tear dripping from his cheek, and it's just the attention to detail is amazing in that game.
Yeah, it's just so beautiful. I mean, we've been following this forever, and at least I have, consecutively since 2009 or 10, somewhere around there. It was around the tail end of play before GameFan, because I perused the Pixel forums, and this was one of those things that just came across the like, holy shit, this is amazing. And then the question was, will this ever play as good as it looks? And then it became, will this game even ever come out? Fuck whether it's fun to play, But I mean, you could see like this. I mean, this wasn't a full-time gig for them, right? I don't think like this was like.
I hope not.
Free time, right?
Yeah, it's a very small Norwegian studio, D-pad studio. I want to say it's like 4 to 6 people, and then I believe they hired like musicians as well, but yeah, the main programming team is very small. So you can definitely tell it's a passion project that they've sweated over every detail and just probably iterated and iterated to get it to. I mean, it's almost a perfect game. There's some things that I think bug me from modern gaming conventions, but I appreciate that they're not there. And the game, it's about 8 hours or so, 8 or 10 hours. It's a good length. The combat's not too difficult.
Why can't we get a Metroid game that looks like this? Like, I'm just getting
Yeah, a
mad.
Metroid game. Give me a Castlevania game. That
Or
looks like.
how about a Zelda style 2D game that's even has some of the side scrolling functions back? You know the guy. He's working on Iconoclast. Did a demo called The Legend of Princess. That was like a because look, Zelda 2. Not a lot of people were a fan of that, but he took that mechanic and made it fun. So it's more Legend of Princess. Yeah, that shit was dope too. Because it's kind of like has a Wind Waker vibe to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. This game does scratch like a small Zelda itch as you explore different like caverns and caves and areas. You'll come across like little puzzles like, okay, I gotta bring this item from this room to here to drop it on a switch so I can get around. I mean, they're not as complicated as Zelda. Not that Zelda's super complicated, but there is some like puzzle solving. It has the like hidden rooms of Castlevania. As you go through a cave, you'll find like this wall you can pass through and find little nooks and crannies. But there's no like map system in the game, so you have to like learn where you're going. And as
like the first Metroid.
Yeah, exactly. And there's these owl coins. There's these coins you find that give you little like cosmetic upgrades and eventually in health upgrades as you get more of them. And you can, but if you find all the coins in the game, there's something I couldn't do. And like there's a couple areas where I'm like, I see that coin. And there is a map, there is a list that tells you how many coins you have in each area. And I'm still trying to figure out every nook. Like I finished it, but I keep going back to like 100% complete it. There's some secret areas. There's these weird medallions you find that you take to shrines. I've completed one. There's 2 more. I don't know what they do, and I'm curious. Like I don't want to read up on it. I'm hoping there's more of an ending, or so.
It gives me faith in the universe. This game. I don't actually. What do you think of it?
I like the art style on it. It's really good. It's not like it's bright, and I want to click the gameplay. I'm afraid it's going to make noise. Hold on. Yes, it will.
Yes. It's the music that we can get the DMC on. So you gotta don't let that go longer than 15 seconds.
Hold on. I gotta go. Bye.
If we get DMC'd from these guys, I'd be
there was
very
like
upset.
no pause buttons. Yeah. Anyways, but I like it's nice and bright, and the art, like the colors aren't muddled or in anything. I could get into this game. So.
Do you like pixel art, Ashley, or is that?
That was really cool pixel art. It was like really in depth, and yeah, I can get into that.
Yeah, because
I think it depends on what kind of game, like what. It just depends,
Well, there was a developer. It's just off the top of my head, folks, and I'm not prepared for this. But I remember there's an indie developer that did a lot of pixel art, and they said they did a switch to all their stuff being hand drawn, because even though the pixel art was harder, that younger kids now, let's say, in their teens and early 20s, they just think it's low-res art. I don't know that it's harder to make the pixel art, than it is.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. I mean, like, obviously there's, pixel art like Hyper Light Drifter, and then there's pixel art like this, and both really different styles, but both really, I like, both have a, as long as it really has an artistic style and direction to it, like they know what they're doing and it's eye-catching. I mean, that's the important thing to me.
I mean, 9 years got to be one of the reasons why it's taken so long.
Yeah.
Wesley, they finally had that demo for Bloodstained, the spiritual successor to 2D Castlevania. And I thought it moved incredibly well. It was snappy. I played it. We both talked about the enemy AI probably isn't even put in the game yet. But that being said, if it looked more, I'm not saying bright and chipper like this, but if it was this level of pixel art with the skulls and the heavy metal rock, maybe the internet would have completely exploded quick. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What do you think about it?
I'm not sure how bloodstained. Right? I'll wait to see like fuller areas because
It's animated very well.
It could still look really pretty, and
Yeah.
I think maybe that will, like Ashley was saying, appeal to younger people. Like my wife, she thinks this game looks good, but she's of the like Vanillaware style. Like if you're gonna do 2D art, like it should look like that.
Yeah.
It should be hand drawn and gorgeous. But this pixel art is, it's not like Hotline Miami or something very retro.
Minimalist.
Like, sure,
it's not minimalist.
Sure, it feels like it, comes from an older era, but there's so much detail. Like if I don't know what pictures you see, but like when you go into the shop, there's items all over the place on shelves and walls, and all these little trinkets everywhere. There's just so much detail. It's not like it's like Mario Brothers or something where there's just enemies and there's some lazy mountains in the background. It's they took a lot of time and to really detail it, and yeah, so I love stuff like this.
Yeah, and I'm trying to look. Did you say what platform? I mean, like what console is this on? Is it downloadable only?
It's a PC right now.
PC, okay, PC.
I mean, I could definitely see it coming to PlayStation, Xbox at some point.
No doubt.
Well, I just give them, like the character design is amazing, and so yeah, this is gold. So it's
Nintendo needs to throw them a lot of money and hand them the Metroid license, the keys to the Metroid Empire. That's how I feel.
There's not a lot of characters in this game, but they're all very memorable, which is
that's probably more important.
Yeah. Like I say a lot, there's probably a good dozen, but you remember them all. They're all unique. They all,
Exactly.
maybe I'm sure they cover certain tropes, but they all stand out.
I think that people like that though. So.
Hopefully they're selling a shitload of copies of this game. I will be buying it. I have not had a chance to pick it up this week. Matter of fact, I've been so busy working and getting caught up on my backlog of work. I haven't had a chance to open Dragon Quest Builders. Look at this. It's still in the packaging. Oh my god. I played the demo and I fell in love. And I was like, I'm just going to fire this fucking thing. Because if I don't, they'll say the reason why they didn't bring Dragon Quest 11 to the States was that I didn't buy Dragon Quest Builders. Now I'm stuck buying every Dragon Quest game that gets put on a PlayStation 4 disc until they release Dragon Quest 11.
Have you seen the game called Slain? Back from Hell?
Yes.
See, like, I think that looks pretty cool too. Like when you're talking about Castlevania, I was like, oh, there's like a kind of a retro game that looks, Castlevania-esque, just super violent. But anyways, don't want to get too off topic.
Yeah, well, let me just show everyone what we're talking about really quick so they can at least see.
I've heard it's got some issues, like, it's a little clunky, but it definitely looks like a retro style Castlevania game. Just
it has the look down perfect. The gameplay from what I hear has some issues, but this is what I'm talking about. Like kids actually think this stuff is the pixels are low res. Man, Wesley, we ran into that problem at GameFan. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
When I started blowing up the pixels and making giant pixel spreads, the printers would go, "Your files are low res." I'm like, "No, dumbass, that's Super Star Wars. Print the magazine. Just print it. We gotta get paid."
Wait, would it not print, or would you just have to be like override it and be like, no, just do it?
I had to tell them to just print it, and sometimes these guys they just want in order to justify their paycheck, they gotta always try to find something wrong, And when it's on the press, if it doesn't print, they can fine you thousands of dollars. So there's so little money to go around a GameFan. We're just like, just print the magazine. Just print the fucking magazine. I don't care. I don't care if they can barely read the shit. Just print it. I don't get paid for that. I just print the fucking But it was funny. It's like, that's Super Star Wars, man. Do you not know? These guys are old. Oh, whatever. So, but that being said, I have a real soft spot for pixels. And then pixels executed at a high level. Like anything above, as far as I'm concerned, in terms of mainstream console gaming, it never got better than the first Symphony of the Night in terms of pixel gameplay. This is the next logical step in terms of complexity, level of detail. It's the kind of like level of detail that when you walk into like um, maybe even like the Final Fantasy rooms those are pre-rendered, but you walk in those rooms and nothing really moved. Like the grass doesn't sway, or the trees don't
Hmm.
move much, and like all the little details. You want to see a little bird land or some bats or some, and this does all that. So I really hope that they're rewarded with gobs of cash, and 9 years. Oh God, I hope not 9 years. I mean, you could have made two Fezzes in the time it took to make this game. So that's pretty crazy. Anyhow, Owlboy, love it. Ashley, is there anything what we got here? What you got? What you got? Backlog. Tell us about Uncharted 4.
Okay, so I've had the okay, so I finished playing Borderlands, beat the game, great game. So I started my next game, Uncharted 4, and I like right just before I played all the Uncharted games. So just before I kind of went on YouTube and got a recap of all the games. Totally, totally like no, game number one was very memorable. Totally forgot pretty much everything in game two. Game three, obviously, that was pretty memorable because it was the last one I played.
You don't remember the giant Smurf like enemies in Uncharted 2?
It was the Yetis. I totally forgot about the Yetis. Like, if I had played that game again, I would have been like, oh my gosh, they're real. Like,
If only they
and
threw yellow snowballs. Like that
yeah.
would've-
But no, I remember the first one. I remember playing the first one. And I was 16, and I totally did not think that the game, that like the Uncharted games are kind of known for having that one element that's supernatural thrown in, usually towards the end. But I didn't know that. I didn't think it was gonna go supernatural. And when when I started seeing like weird things in the corner of the screen, spoilers just in case, even though I've probably already spoiled some things. When I started seeing things kind of in the shadows, moving around, I'm like, what the? Okay, and then all of a sudden the freaking zombie dude jumps out. I'm like eating or something. I eat and play video games, and I like choke, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah, so that was very memorable for me. So I'm interested to see what's gonna happen in 4. Like if they're gonna throw a twist in there. I know that you've already played it, Rob, so please don't say anything. So
Spoilers. No. Go
no,
ahead.
but anyway, so I'm interested to see that. But upon playing the first kind of chapters, I thought it was pretty. Obviously, they snuck that tutorial in of him being like, a kid at the orphanage. Obviously, that was a tutorial, but it was like also a flashback, and you get to see him and his brother and like their relationship as teenagers, or I guess about teenage. He was a young teenager, I guess like 13 or something, and his brother was probably like 18. I'm assuming, but anyway, so you get to see that, and then it kind of flashes forward a few years, and so I'm basically on the chapter. I've only played about 2 hours of the game, so I'm on the chapter where he's at home with Elena, just kind of tinkering around, and I'm quickly finding out that this game is much more kind of like more like a walking simulator than the other games. Not totally, because there is still action and you're jumping and running from people, but I'm finding that so far it is more like that. It tells a
Yeah,
story.
not really.
Yeah.
What?
Say
No,
it,
see,
Hold on,
see, that's the
Rob.
thing, Ashley. Like, don't worry about it.
I'm not
Like,
done.
Spoilers.
see, it's not a spoiler because I mean, there's a
But I'm
trailer.
not done, Rob, because I know that that's probably just the beginning.
No,
But it
what I
is
think
supposed
they
to be
did.
cinematic. It is
What I
supposed to be
think
cinematic.
they did, Ashley, was they integrated a lot of what used to be called point and click adventure stuff, right? Which is like slightly interactive ways to tell story into the environment, so that if you search and like if you just plow through the levels,
Right,
even
you
as early,
can. Right, you can plow through. I know.
yeah.
But I'm the type that will go in the bathroom and look for treasure.
Well,
And like, what's that
games.
shiny? Oh, it's the freaking faucet.
Quote of the week.
But hey, I found some treasures in some places. I even died looking for treasure. But but yeah, you can plow through that game. But I know better to than I mean, if you've played them before, you know that there's treasures, and you kind of know where they're gonna be. And I it was time to go, and one like we were running from prison guards, and they're like, Nate, come on. And I'm like, hold on, I gotta look for treasure. And they came in and killed me. And I was like, all right, there's no treasure in there. So, I mean, I'm that kind of person. But so I will take my time on the game.
I'm the kind of person that likes to play through the game and then go back and like complete afterward. I don't like to like when you're reading the strategy guide and you try and do everything right the first time because I don't want to go back. Like I don't do that. I like to just.
I did that. I've done that before, but I did that with Final Fantasy 10-2, and it took me like 10 hours to go 10 pages.
Yeah, you start to feel like I'm a slave to the fucking guide. I don't even know what's going on. I'm just doing whatever it tells me to do. It's not really,
Because that game lets you like fly to each location, or you can like walk. And if you walk, there's so much more to do. And it was like, oh my god! And
the strategy guide for
closed the game, and I was done.
Well, the strategy guide for Dragon Quest VIII was really bad. Like it's legendary. So I downloaded the game facts. This guy's put together a giant game fact compendium. It's like this fucking thick, dude. It's huge. And I printed on yellow paper, so it's literally the yellow pages. And I was like, okay. And it would preface each section with all the items that were available in that section, like every little item and where it was at. And so then I started going down and ticking each little one off. And I think I spent 6 months before I even got through a quarter of the game. Because I was just like trying to click and get every little, and I was like, I'm not even enjoying the game now, So it was the last time I did that. Go ahead, Ashley.
Nothing. I'm very meticulous when I play my games, so I will take my time. And I look online and be like, oh yeah, I beat this game in like, I don't know, 10 hours, depending on what it is. If you can beat it in 10 hours, it probably takes me 3 hours longer, maybe 15 hours, and then if it's like Zelda, like I looked on there and it was like, I'm beating this game in, 40 hours. Well, it took me 60 because I take my time, and so I'm really slow. But
the walking simulator thing is just this.
Okay, maybe it's not walking simulator. Maybe
they set it up so his life is boring in the beginning. This is not a spoiler, right? This is the premise, and then it changes. And it really, for me, I guess, because, I'm getting older now. Like, when I got to that front of the game, I'm like, I know what this feels like. I used to have adventures. Like, now I'm just, I gotta rake the lawn. I gotta rake the lawn.
That's what happened to me.
Whereas I'm like at that yard. I guess he was like, what, 25 when they were in the prison? I almost didn't get that. I looked at his brother. I'm like, if he's supposed to be 35 in game 3, and so he's probably around 40 now, and then he's 40. His brother's like 45. I was like, man, he looks good for 45. And then I realized it was a flashback, and I'm like, oh, okay, never mind. I'd probably like 25, or well, maybe 30. I don't know.
It's a great game, though. I mean, for me, like I said, it's my favorite movie of the summer. I was like, that was fucking awesome. Game of Thrones, and I had Uncharted 4. The summer ruled. I wasn't let down by the movies. And I've played through it a couple times, so it's amazing. It's a great game. It's, for me right now, I'd have to say if I had to pick a game of the year, it's Uncharted 4. I've gotten the most out of it. Wesley?
It's crazy to think that came out this year. Like, I mean, I played it not that long ago, but I felt like I was playing it way behind everybody else. I probably finished it. It was probably like a couple months ago that I played it. But it came out, what, like, was it E3 time?
Yeah, it was around late May, early June.
Yeah.
And Neil Druckerman was the director and co-writer of the game.
Yeah,
he took over. I had a chance to talk with him once when I was working at Ape. Ape published a book, a comic book that he wrote and someone else drew. Something about like, what's the something with Sarah? It was like a time travel, kind of like Lucas meets Goonies kind of storyline. And they wanted some. You ever buy a trade paperback and there's like pinups of the characters in the back by different artists?
Mm-hmm.
So what they generally do is say, hey, if you guys want to put some free art in the back, you can. There's no money, but you get to get attached to this book. It's going to get some profile. So I was like, Neil Druckerman, he works at Naughty Dog. So I'm like, I'll do that. So I drew this thing and put it in. And then he sent me this really long email, and he was super cool and chatted for a little bit. So he's a cool guy.
Aww.
Yeah, I know. Matter of fact, I should probably just show it really quick so he can get a little bit of bonus, because I did read. Like, I don't always read, these books that I work on, but this guy's stuff, this book was actually really cool. One of the few times I was like, this is pretty good. This guy might have a future in writing. So here we go. A Second Chance with Sarah. This is the pinup I did. It's like, what year was this? 2009. So it's a little while ago. Yeah, Neil Druckerman. So, pretty cool little story. Alrighty. So, all right, Ash. So you should finish that sometime by the Switch by March.
I play like an hour a day most days, so I don't know. It'll probably be in the next 2 or 3 weeks.
Did you get through the? Well, you just got. How do I say? I don't want to.
What was the last thing you did?
Did you do anything in the living room?
I got a beer out of the refrigerator and drank it.
Ah, okay. All right.
And then I said, "It's time to go."
All right. So get back to me after you continue.
Did you play?
No. I don't want to talk
Wait,
about it. No, Wesley. She hasn't. So, all right. Let's move on. All right. So Wesley, let's talk about BlizzCon.
That's like what? Like I'm not.
I know.
No, but anyways, what I'm referencing is what, like 5 minutes later.
Literally 5 seconds later. So let's not do
okay.
it. So,
Yeah, please don't.
No, I'm not gonna go into it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like,
you know.
like, okay, if you got the beer, like.
Yeah, I know.
I got the beer and then I was like, "Oh, I need to go."
You're like,
Yeah.
I'm drunk.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I need to go take a nap.
All right. So BlizzCon was this week, everybody. Now, BlizzCon. Explain BlizzCon to the people that may not know, Wesley. What is BlizzCon?
It's a convention for all things Blizzard.
Blizzard
Guys
game.
who make World of Warcraft, StarCraft,
Diablo.
Diablo, like I like to say.
Now, every year, my wife gets the virtual pass for BlizzCon because she gets a free pet. I use it to watch the stream that, since they've been doing it since 2008 or 9, somewhere around there. They stream supposedly the whole con, not really. They stream half the con in all these esports. So I like to watch it because I love the development of their worlds, the games. I like seeing their new systems. I actually like listening to Q&As because even though I don't play Warcraft, I do like to hear how people. I like to have people confront the developers and then they go, "Oh yeah, you know." So and also just like the way they sort of like talk about the level design and maps and all sorts of stuff. My heart, in terms of a fan, is for all things Diablo. That's the one thing I do play on my PS4 still now. Like I love Diablo because with our art schedules, it's really easy to just play 30, 40 minutes of Diablo, you know, or even an hour and get something out of it and be rewarded. Yay, I got new armor. And so I go for all the cool, like for me now, it's like what Diablo is coming out. And then secondarily, I love the universe and the animation stuff for Overwatch. Like the first person shooterness of the game, I don't play. But I like the universe and the characters, and I firmly believe, I firmly believe that Overwatch, and I've said this before, is like, for me, like, it's the modern version of Street Fighter 2. Like, when I was a kid, Street Fighter 2 hit the arcades, and it was this game that you could play against other people, and it was competitive, and it had characters from all around the world, you know, and it had a monster in it, and then they had these superpowers, and when I look at Overwatch and how diverse the cast is, how well designed the characters are, and the backstories, and that they come from different parts of the world, it's exactly like the FPS version of Street Fighter 2. In a way that even Street Fighter can't seem to deal with now, because they DLC the whole fucking game. That being said, this con was supposed to be the rumors on the internet. They catch this one, right? So BlizzCon started on November 4th. That's 11/4. It was the 20th anniversary of Diablo. So the internet got all conspiratorial and was like, because it's going to come out on the 4th, they're going to announce Diablo 4. And if you know anything about Diablo development, that's actually impossible. Like, Diablo 1 came out in 96. Diablo 2 came out 3 years, 4 years later. 4 years. Diablo 3 came out 12 years after that. And there's just no way a Diablo 4 was going to get announced. But I was interested to see what they would announce. And what they did announce was, and it launched today, was the ability to sort of play Diablo 1 inside the Diablo 3 engine. All of you out there pretty much know that. It's but they did announce a bunch of other cool shit. Like you're going to be able to get on console seasons now, which are cool. I'm actually interested in that. They have these things called challenge rifts, where it's going to snapshot people's runs and builds, and so you have to play as their build. and to challenge the runs. And there's different things you get. They're going to have an armory, so you can just like automatically set up sets of armor, and then it'll memorize up to 5 sets, and you can just switch in and out anytime you want to do something. Which, if you've ever had to switch out armor in Diablo, you know, including the gem sockets and shit like this. So there's all sorts of cool info. And then they really had a good breakdown on how much effort goes into those animated shorts on Overwatch. It's fucking crazy, folks. That being said, and I'm going to make this complaint and then pass it over to Wesley and then Ashley. My biggest complaint about BlizzCon, and this is a complaint every year, is that there are 2 other floors at BlizzCon that are based around creative panels. And we're talking about the art of Warcraft, the art of Overwatch, the art of Diablo, the art of StarCraft, sound design, game design, all these creative panels. They're even called creative panels. And they don't stream those at all. And, when they first started the streaming thing, I figured, well, it's a bandwidth issue, and, you pay in now, and eventually they'll do it. It's been 8 fucking years. Like, can you not stream this shit? Like, what's so okay, maybe not live. You could put in the video archive. What's so fucking hard about it? Like, I don't understand, dude. Like, why at this point? They run the esports nonstop for a week before BlizzCon. A week before BlizzCon, it's streaming free. And then the final championship tiers run during BlizzCon for 2 days. And it's like, that's 24/7, that stuff. And, which I will admit, I finally sat down to watch, Wesley. And I got to talk to you about this. But as a creative person, it really sucks that I don't really care about people, because the Q&As at first on one hand are interesting because sometimes you'll get an interesting question. A lot of times it's just like, I got a spec do, I'm doing the nerd voice, right? I got a D20 armor with the fucking plus set resin set on the Stormreaver server, and you know what I mean? Run an SOA Res 4, and I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you're saying, but I know I would love to hear about the iteration process in a more technical, format. Artists speaking to artists in a way, like, here's the base model, here's how we designed this, and here's what I was thinking. They do some of that during the presentations, but it's usually glossed up. Like, the Hearthstone had a whole thing about how they designed the cards, and they brought an artist guide out there to talk about it, and he was pretty good at talking, but it's like, it's very vanilla in terms of how deep that conversation goes. And I'm willing to bet the art of panels are way more informative. Anyhow, that's my big rant on that. Getting on to esports, Wesley, I decided just randomly to say I'm going to watch an esport this year. I'm going to watch one of these fucking things because I paid for this shit. So, I'll watch the Warcraft Arena just because they had this team. What was it, this guy named Jamili? What's his name? Team Storm.
I don't know.
It was like Tempo Storm was their name. Tempo Storm.
Okay,
and then this
Tempo
guy named Jamili, who was playing the total heel, on purpose. He was just being an ass, on purpose. He wasn't really, but he was playing, And so I'm like, I'll watch this. And even though I can't tell what the fuck's going on when they're fighting, you can see the counters on the left. And so I'm just like, who's going on that? He's going. Oh no. And after a couple matches, I was like, this is actually pretty fun. Followed all the way through. It was actually really interesting. So I got into that, and I normally don't. I tried to watch Overwatch, and Here's a Storm. I fucking can't tell you, man. I don't know how they expect everyone to watch this shit like it's Monday
I
Night
think
Football.
first-person shooters are really hard to watch.
I think that what we're watching on first-person shooters should always be third-person outside. There should be arena cams set up for us, to watch, because when it's jumping into the first person, and then it's out, and then it's over here, and then it's over here, and then I'm like, I could play 2 hours of VR and not want to throw up. This fucked with me.
It comes down to what they call the observer, and there's one person who is their job to switch to where the action is. And if they're not good,
it should always be
two, you don't know what's going on. So,
I mean, could you imagine in the middle of football it jumped into the helmet cam? Didn't they do that once, on the XFL? Was it the XFL? I think someone tried the helmet cam, and that didn't last very long. I think also too, you could hear them cursing one season on the NFL, you could just hear motherfucker, that lasted 2 games. So, because I forgot they also announced they're going to have the Overwatch League, a dedicated league where they're going to sign people up to contracts and are going to get paid. Lord knows what that's going to end up being like.
So that was kind of cool because I think the one thing that was interesting about that is it's not gonna be like Team Razor versus Team Doritos. It's gonna be like Los Angeles versus New York, and they're gonna, which you could kind of get behind.
I totally respect that, and I do believe setting a league specifically for a game is a pretty cool idea. The characters are fun. The problem I have is I'm not going to be able to watch it because not that I don't know what's going on. That I could care less about. I mean, half the time I don't know what the fuck's going on in a football game other than just run the ball. The thing is, the viewer, what we're seeing as viewers, has to be specifically made for the audience. It can't be what the game is producing. You know what I mean? Like, it can't be the game windows. Because at the point now with Overwatch, they have the things at the top and the little icons in the bars, and they're super tiny. Like, they need a specific format for the audience to watch the game.
No, I agree. I mean, Valve with Dota, I don't know how, I don't watch League, but I got into Dota 2 for a year. And the one thing that's cool about that game is they have like a full on, like they can just go anywhere they want at any time. They don't have to follow a certain person's game. They control the map. So they're like a spectator looming over the whole world, and they can jump anywhere on the map at any time.
Yeah, they need something.
And they can even slightly change the angle too. It's really neat if you go within client. If you actually say you're watching like the big Dota tournament, you can watch it on Twitch, or you can watch it from within the game, and then you can control the camera yourself.
That's pretty cool. Can you do that with Overwatch? Like while they're doing that?
I don't think so. I mean, because I don't know if Blizzard themselves have put something like that, but Valve has.
Well, all I'm saying, man, if they want to get that Monday night, combat money going, they need more. Because guys, folks, I'm a simple man. Like I like to look at the game as it's occurring from like the God mode. If I wanted to be on the field playing that shit, I'd just play the game myself. I don't need to be right in it. So as average Rob, average Rob just wants to sit back and go, here's the team doing this, and it can move quick because it's a game. I get that. But who's winning and losing, and I thought that Warcraft Arena, although the graphics of Warcraft Arena are incredibly stupid, and far less interesting to watch, was far easier to get into. Even like my wife, she don't watch this shit, and she's like, after one match, like, this is pretty, and when we got done with this is pretty fucking fun. I'm like, and then I was like, I'll go watch this other stuff. Try to watch Heroes of the Storm. I don't know what the fuck's going on in that game, man. Like, I had to go and get some YouTube videos explain the Heroes of the Storm, and so even then it wasn't fully clear. So I was like, I'll play this fucking thing because it's got tutorials. Holy shit, I still don't fully like okay, there's gates, and then I gotta go do this one thing, and sometimes I can bribe dudes, and then they can come down and do some shit, and then I gotta keep moving over here. It's like like I get there's complexity because it's a game and you want it to be challenging. And I'm not saying nerf it for the average person because the universe changed. I get there has to be a way to present it, so that when you're watching it, it's just a little bit less, like, has to be, dude.
It's probably why for me, I generally only enjoy watching fighting games because it's all the action's right there. And while I don't get all the jargon or like mix-ups and cross-ups and footsies and these things are doing, I kind of understand. Like at the end of the day, I can see like this guy beat up this guy.
Well, that's why I got the Warcraft Arena, because it's just 3-on-3. It's 3v3 battles, so you can understand and follow as it goes on what's kind of going on beyond the fact that it's just crazy with Warcraft fucking magic and shit all the time. But it's still a little easier to follow. Ashley, you watch esports on any level? Like, you ever?
No. I just because it's hard. It's just hard to watch. I'm so busy. It's hard to watch things like that. So yeah.
They do go on an incredibly long time. Like when it was like, okay, Tempo Storm versus I can't fucking remember, and it was like it starts. Yeah, whatever. So they all have crazy names, and so that could be like an hour and a half.
Yeah, I mean, I could listen to it. I could listen to it, and maybe. But then again, I don't know. It's
And there's
kinda,
24 fucking matches in this, you know. And
Yeah.
if it go, you do the math. You're like, try to commit 24.
That's
20
my
hours?
weekend right now. Like, I'm just not looking forward to it. It'll be fun, but at the same time, I'm expecting a big
Well,
headache.
I wanted to watch the Heroes of the Storm because when we were watching the BlizzCon, and I guess it already passed. I don't know. I lost track with the craziness going on in the world. Is that they were doing an E-Storm tournament for college rookies, right?
Mhm.
And the prize was full tuition. And I'm like,
Nice.
that's fucking smart, right? Like, like, there you go. I mean, that'll get. I mean, because right now it's a sport largely dominated by white and Asian males. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I mean, it's 90.
that are like 25 to like 18 or
And
something.
the Asians
Oh, yeah.
are really fucking good.
Yeah, but like if you're over 25, like it's already time to retire.
Right.
Your reflexes have deteriorated.
Yeah.
Oh,
By-
man,
by
well,
But you know, it's like you know when you see those racing game times and like the difference between second place and first place is like a fraction of a millisecond, and you go, well, that can't be that hard, and you don't realize how far. It's like Inception. That is actually an incredibly long distance, you know, when you get to that tier. But to bring in, you know, more diverse player base, full tuition is pretty fucking awesome, you know. And I wanted to watch it, but I'm like, I don't know how to follow this game. Heroes of the Storm, you know, like, and you think it would be easier because it's like an overhead map, you know, and it's you can see the map and you can kind of see what they're going on, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, I've played Heroes. It takes it a little bit further. While some parts are easier, because like in a game like Dota or League, you earn a lot of money to buy items, and everybody buys their own items. And Here's the Storm, they take that away, but the maps themselves have different objectives depending on the map. So sometimes, like you said, you're bribing a pirate to shoot a cannon, you're paying him gold, or this one you're fighting over these, you know, Diablo and an angel, and you know things like that. So that could definitely get confusing, especially as you're trying to get into it for your first time, and maybe you don't play the game too.
Right? Yeah, the objectives are a little. I don't know, they vary, you know, as opposed to say watching, say it was like Super Smash Brothers. I'm like, okay, I get that this is a Zelda map, but the game still is the same, whether it's on a Zelda map or a Metroid map, you know, like it's not changing the objectives of the game. So I'm with you. I think when it comes to competitive, you know, esports, I'm still more of like an Evo guy, you know. Um,
It's the original, but yeah, my weekend's gonna be CS:GO all weekend.
you're one of those.
No, my company, we are into esports, and CS:GO is one of the main games we sponsor. And there's a huge esports tournament this week, the iBuy Masters. So my company has a booth there. I have to work.
Well, Wesley,
It's right by the stage. It's gonna be in my
nice.
face
It's gonna
all
right up
weekend.
all over.
But it should be cool. It looks great. It's at this giant like hangar at the fairgrounds in Orange County, but it should be pretty fun.
Other
Should be
than
interesting.
esports, were there any highlights at BlizzCon for you, Wesley? Did you see anything?
No, I mean, if they don't have like a new announcement, like a new game announcement, it's generally just like, oh, okay. Like I'm definitely way more into Blizzard than I used to be. I got into them, pretty hardcore, probably like 3 or 4 years ago. So Diablo 1, the Necromancer, like all that stuff for Diablo is great. I'm glad you get the tri-seasons. They're really fun. It's a reason to, keep playing the game. And
I need the
Being in-
controller for Diablo. I'm done with the point and click. I need
yeah,
the
I
controller.
wish they would just do it, like just patching. They've taken a hard stance on PC. They're like, you're playing it with a mouse and keyboard. And it's like, come on, man, just patch it in.
That was
It's
the
not like
last question at the Diablo 3 Q&A, the very last one. Will you ever consider adding controller support because my wrist hurts and it would be really cool? No. And then everyone was like, yeah. And I'm like, fuck you guys, man. Like, what do you care? Like,
I mean, the thing is, like, yeah, there is no PvP in that game, like Diablo 2. There is no like competitive advantage. Like, if anything, it's a disadvantage in at least to PC gamers if you're using a controller. Like, you have way more control. So why not let them use a controller? But anyways, the new Overwatch character looks cool. Sombra, the hacking thing is really neat. More Hearthstone expansion. I play Hearthstone every month, like the only game I play. So it's only not the only game I play. It's the only game I play on my phone. And yeah.
Yeah, Wesley has poor taste in mobile gaming. Mm. Well, actually, no. You play Hearthstone. Wait, that's the only game you play on your phone. I thought you said you've only been playing on your phone. My bad.
No, yeah,
I
no,
take
no,
that
no.
back.
The
You have
only game I
great
play.
taste in mobile gaming.
Like I just played Owlboy. I'm playing Skyrim. Again. Checking out
Remastered.
if you had it on PC, they gave you the upgrade for free. So I'm just checking it out. It looks nice.
Well, let me
Yeah, it
wrap
doesn't
up the
look
BlizzCon thing. Okay, so that's it. BlizzCon, yay! All right, so
Yeah,
and then
I'm not going to talk about Skyrim.
we're at the
saying, like,
40-something minute mark. I want to just really quickly, Wesley, bring up because Ashley, this you'll have something to say about this, right? Like, you don't follow BlizzCon, right, Ashley?
No.
Okay, so okay, I just wanted to. Did I forget to ask if you? Death of the Wii U. Let's just do this. Wesley, go.
So it came out a couple weeks. There's a rumor that Nintendo was ending production on the Wii U. They denied it. Looks like yesterday they kind of finally came out and confirmed it. Nintendo of America confirmed that all Wii U's that are like shipped are that's it. There's no more coming here. And I think Japan, pretty much did the same thing too. So yeah, no more production on Wii U. I mean, we got the Switch right around the corner, so I mean it makes sense.
Yeah, the thing that killed me about this, Ashley, did you follow any of this news in the past week?
No.
So
No.
this rumor went around the net. It was pretty fucking obvious from Eurogamer and a lot of like Wall Street Journal. They're like, oh, by the way, Nintendo's going to be ceasing production of the Wii U. So then Nintendo of America comes on and goes, that's totally untrue, right? Or in Japan, whatever. Nintendo comes out and says, that's totally untrue. We are not, and everything resumes as normal. And everyone's like, this isn't. These are coming from like trades, like this isn't like 4chan said that it was happening. What, and then a week later they confirm, yeah, we're definitely, like we're definitely stopping
what
production.
purpose? It's not like they're doing a big holiday push.
It's kind of like
Wii
when they
U.
put Skyrim in their trailer for the Switch and then go, we don't actually can confirm that that's a game launch title. Like, why would you ever put it in your fucking launch trailer? Like this even.
Yeah, it's like like this year, it's focus is probably 3DS for them at this point.
Wesley, wasn't Nintendo of America? It used to be in Redmond, Washington, forever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then they moved it to San Francisco. Remember that? Because Perry Kaplan used to run that, and then she didn't want to go, and so she stayed in Redmond, and then they moved it to San Francisco. Like, could it be that they signed up with some new marketing company that they're fucking dumb? Like, I mean, how? I'm just trying to figure out, like, man, I love Nintendo, but that is a weird thing to say, no, that isn't true. 4 days later, oh yeah, it's true. What? Like, I don't...
Yeah, they just want to do it on their own.
Like, no comment works better than... We don't have anything to say about it right now. Like, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Like, but no, that's untrue. Like...
Yeah, but I think whatever. It is kind of like I think the one thing sad about it, I was listening to the Giant Bomb podcast, and it was just a letter that came in and pointed out that the Wii U is it's going to be the last console to play like disc based, like CD DVD based games. Because
why
the
would they say
PS4
that?
and the Xbox One don't play the game on the disc; they just install it. It's the last game that will actually like read a disc.
Oh, you mean streaming off the disc?
Yeah.
That all games moving forward will then install onto a drive before you play
or they'll
it.
be on cartridge or something else, but like as like on like an optical media or whatever.
Don't count
the
Nintendo
correct
out,
term is.
bro. They can always go back to some archaic CD-ROM, pinch a penny. You know what I mean? Like, it'll be VR that comes with a Discman built into the head. That just you put in the CD and you can feel it spinning.
Well, at least for now, it's the last of its kind.
Right. Ashley, did you pick up a Wii U?
No. The only Wii U I played is on my niece's Wii U. So.
Do you have the heart to tell her it's dead? Will she get
what?
that? Do you have the
What?
heart to tell her Wii U's dead now? Like,
Well, I don't have to tell them. I don't know. I mean,
and by the way, there's no Santa
I don't
Claus. I'm
think
out.
they-
Like,
what?
There's no Santa Claus.
What?
you,
Aw. Spoilers.
you'll play that back and get it later. Actually, go ahead.
I
Continue.
didn't even hear it. I'm so
It's
glad
the
I didn't
It's
hear
the
it.
next part of Uncharted.
I didn't hear it, so please don't say anything because I'm gonna get really mad. I don't like when people do that.
No, I was talking about ruining your niece's
No.
dreams. You know what I mean? Like, you could ruin. Not only is the Wii U dead, but Santa Claus. Never mind. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't. Yeah, never mind.
And there's no Easter bunny. You know, just take away all the fun. Because I know when I worked in a toy store.
I think the oldest one knows. I think so. I mean, the oldest. Sorry, okay, we're gonna go off on another tangent. Anyway, go ahead.
All right, good job, Ashley. So, a lot of like revving the engines. No, never mind. So, I worked at this toy store back in 97, 98. And I was there for basically the announcement of the death of the Sega Saturn. When they finally went, yeah, we're not making any more games, you know? And they put me in charge of the game section because Rob was Mr. Gamer guy. And this woman came in with her kid post Christmas, and she's like, well, we got this new system because it was on sale, and we want to get some more games for it. I'm like, what's else coming out? I'm like, nothing. She's like, what do you mean nothing? I'm like, no more games coming out. Everything you see here is all there ever will be. And she's like, well, I just bought this. I'm like, yeah. And they're not going to make any more games for it. But you can pick from, you know, you got Clockwork Knight. We got Street Fighter the movie. We got Mortal Kombat Trilogy and Mortal Kombat 3 Ultimate. So we got 2 versions of Mortal Kombat 3 back there you could pick from. And that woman was mad. You know, this is fucking ridiculous. I'm like, well, I don't know what to say. I didn't sell you the Sega Saturn, you know? So, anyhow, I do feel bad because this Christmas, you know, some dumbass parent's going to buy one. You know, they're just going to put them out and be like $100, whatever. Well, I
was gonna say my dad did that with the PS3, but he didn't care. Like, you know, like he bought it basically, I think, a year before, or maybe the year that the PS4 came out. But he doesn't really. I mean,
yeah, but there's 10 times more game on PS3 than Wii U. You
yeah,
understand,
exactly.
and that's saying something.
But it's funny because he bought a PS4 the next year. Like, but to him it doesn't matter. You know, I don't. You know, but
I love my Wii U. There's nothing on it. You know,
I mean, you can play Wii games on the Wii U, so
Mario Maker was it. You know, and Star Fox was so bad I just can't bring myself to sit through any more of that. You know, the VR game sans VR. I love that. Let's make a game where you have to look around while you're flying in this fucking direction. That's brilliant, Miyamoto. Oh, Star Fox Zero gets a 0. That's why we call it 0. It's a 0 game. Anyhow, I don't like the game, and I'm gonna be nice. Star Fox Zero. Anyhow, Wii U it's dead. So it had some fantastic software, but I gotta tell you, Wesley, when I was at that E3,
really good remakes.
Really good remakes. When I was at that E3 and they announced it, I was excited. I was like, finally a Nintendo system, you know, that isn't based around waggling controllers. You know, like, yeah, it's got a touchscreen, but you know, it's got buttons and you know.
I was pretty excited to play golf and put my pad on the ground.
They never got to do that, did we? Never got to put the pad on the ground and just. Yeah, you know, I remember it was funny. The year before the 3DS came out, the vibe on the internet everywhere right after it was like, oh my god, 3D glasses free 3D is gonna be amazing. When the Wii U was shown, it was like fucking dumb, and I was kind of like confused. I'm like, really, you don't like it? And people were like, this is stupid. I was like, all right, well, I mean, I don't know if it's stupid, but I just didn't know it was going to be supported so poorly. I will say this: Emily Rogers is the big Nintendo insider. She's the one who's been like, I'm following her for years. She's at Arcade Girl 64 on Twitter. Check her out. She's fucking always got the inside scoop. She doesn't sell anything, doesn't do any ads, no podcasts. She just puts out info. And she's saying that the new Mario game on the Switch is super complete. Like, it's super fleshed out, and that it features more exploration than either Sunshine or Mario Galaxy did. So more towards a Mario 64-like environment than just, puzzle or gimmick. Not full, but more. And I'm like, yeah, that's because that game was supposed to be on the fucking Wii U. That was clearly a Wii U game that has been just shoveled off onto so they can have a launch title. A Mario, real Mario, full 3D Mario at launch, not the 2D. We made it in our editor in 6 months, fucking game. So I don't want any more 2D Mario games for a while, Wesley, after Mario Maker. Like, I'm done.
I want new Super Mario Brothers.
Why, Wesley? Why do you always have to do that? Like, you're gonna get that on the Mario Run, right? You'll play that on the phone.
Yeah, once it comes to Android.
Ah, yeah. Well, complete with fireballs that explode in your pants, like with the way those phones run. I'm always afraid mine might just turn on me and just explode. I have a Galaxy 7. And I'm like, I'm just one model away from a shitty battery. So who knows? Ashley, any thoughts on the Wii U production ending? Any tears you're gonna shed over that, or?
Not one tear.
Not one
I kind of want to
That's
track
not
down
involved.
the Zelda Wii U.
Although I do have a bit, I read an article and I always thought that the gamepad, like people didn't really like it, and it probably scored low on like the pantheon of game controllers. But it's really, it's not bad. Like it's definitely not the worst. It's probably in the middle. Like
It's not
kinda,
good
like,
for
right
racing
mid-
games, but because
Yeah.
I could play it mostly anywhere in the house, it has a limit. That's why I was able to finish games, because I could play the fucking thing in my bed when I'm going to sleep. That's what I like to play, like right before bed, and then pass right out.
Wait,
So
do you play with the thing right over your head? So if you drop it, it'll drop on your face, or not?
no, I just sit in bed and play
But-
like a game.
Oh, like upright, right? Okay.
Yeah, like what do you?
Sorry.
Like
I'm
over
thinking,
my head.
Like when you look over, when you're like asleep and you look on your phone and you're just like right over your face and you drop it on your face. Yeah.
No.
I probably-
No, Ash. Why? Be careful.
I will say when I'm laying on bed, I will take the PlayStation controller sometimes and put it behind my head and like control up, like basically with the controller upside down.
What, like Rez? Like you put one under your
No.
feet to get the buzz
No,
going?
like I still use my hands, but like
Okay.
I'll put my hand above my
I
head
guess
and I'll be
not
holding it
every-
behind my head, not looking at anything.
I guess not every game can be viewed on the actual gamepad, right? Like in full.
No, they can all be viewed on the gamepad.
Oh, they can't. Okay, I wasn't sure because I was playing with Splatoon, and maybe it's not. Maybe you have to set it. Are there certain settings? Are there different settings where you can?
Yeah, you
like,
just say
view
play
some-
on the gamepad. Well, all the
Okay.
Nintendo games have play on the gamepad. Maybe the third-party ones don't. You have to
Yeah,
play on the
that
TV.
may have been. Okay,
But-
I got you.
Yeah, so that's why I'm gonna love the Switch, because I'm like, I'll be able to play my games everywhere. I don't give a shit. So, all right. Is there anything else? Have we forgot anything? Anything?
No,
My coffee is getting really empty here, folks. I got one sip left. That's what I know we're at the end of the show now.
I think there was one little game, just a quick little mention.
Shit.
Probably you're excited about Blaster Master Zero.
I wish it looked like Owlboy.
Okay.
I wish it did.
Yeah.
It looks better than Blaster Master, and I hope they have the storyline from the original Japanese game, which did involve a kid and his frog. It was fucking it was way better than the American story. And it looks cool. I want to see it on the 3DS. Does it support 3D? Is it going to have parallax in 3D? Do we know? I haven't seen it on my 3DS yet, so I can't tell you.
I've literally just looked at like one press release.
Yeah,
that
so
was-
I don't know. I wish it looked like Owlboy, though. Like, I wish it had more pixels. Owlboy is going to ruin all the pixel art games for me from here on out. So, that's it. All right. So, we're all done, right?
Yep.
Ashley, you go back and get back to us in 2 weeks on Uncharted 4.
I will definitely.
You'll get through 2 more hours a game. Like,
Yes.
you get past the beer. All right.
Making sure there's not any treasures inside.
Yeah, all right. Ashley, where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Instagram, and I'm Gangfeather.
Perfect. Wesley, where can people harass you online?
Twitter. You can't find me below because Rob has the wrong link, so it's
I don't have-
NZXT Wesley.
I don't have the wrong links. I have the links you gave me.
Yeah, I changed my name, and so apparently that link's dead.
Oh, okay. Wesley, so give me new links. All right, everybody. I will be back on shortly. Been working on Game Cave. See y'all soon. Thanks for hanging out. Talk to you later. Peace, everybody. Say goodbye. Say goodbye. Say goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye. It never plays the endings easily. Here we go. You can do it. There we go. Dum 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 dum. This is where Wesley talks about me off camera. See you next week.